Hello everyone and welcome back to Chemin vers Growth.
Today we're diving deep into the
TCF Quebec
exam as requested by
@JJFrozen15.
What this exam is, how it works, its purpose, and how it compares to other French language tests like TCF Canada, TEF Canada, and TEF Quebec. If you're planning to immigrate to Quebec or just curious about French language certification in Canada, this video will guide you through everything you need to know. Let's get started. The TCF Quebec exam is a French language proficiency test used specifically for immigration to Quebec. It is a requirement when applying for a Quebec certificate of selection, which is needed for immigration to Quebec through the following pathways: Quebec Skilled Worker Program, QSWP, Quebec Experience Program, PEQ, Family Reunification, in some cases, for the sponsoring partner. This exam is recognized by Quebec's Ministry of Immigration, Francisation, and Integration, and cannot be used for immigration at a federal level. It assesses general everyday French language skills, not specialized or academic French, in listening, speaking, reading, and writing, depending on which modules you choose. So, in short, TCF Quebec is the Quebec-flavored version of the TCF, adapted to Quebec's immigration rules and scoring. Let's break down what the test looks like in terms of modules, durations, content, and scoring. The TCF Quebec exam has 4 modules:
Compréhension orale, listening, compréhension écrite, reading, expression écrite, writing, and expression orale, speaking.
The exam itself is modular, which means you can select to take 1, 2, 3, or even all 4 of the modules in the exam. However, if immigration to Quebec through the Quebec Skilled Worker Program is your target, speaking and listening are mandatory. Doing the extra 2 modules, though, can give you French proficiency points. When it comes to exam structure, the TCF Quebec is exactly like the TCF Canada exam. The listening comprehension has 39 multiple choice questions and lasts 35 minutes. The reading comprehension has 39 multiple choice questions and lasts 60 minutes. The written expression has 3 distinct writing tasks and lasts 60 minutes. All these 3 tests are computer-based and are done in an exam room. The oral expression test is the last of the 4 exams and is an individual face-to-face test with 3 speaking tasks that last 12 minutes, including about 2 minutes preparation. Again, the main difference between the TCF Canada exam and the TCF Quebec exam lies in the fact that in the TCF Quebec exam, you get to choose the modules, and thus the total duration can vary from 12 minutes, if only taking only the speaking test, and up to 2 hours and 47 minutes if taking all 4 modules. The grading system used is the same as that of the TCF Canada exam. For the comprehension tests, listening and reading modules, your results are graded out of 699, and for the expression tests, speaking and writing, your results are graded out of 20. All results slips show your number score and the equivalent CLB and CEFR levels. After the exam, the certifying center, the test center where you sat for the exam, provides you with an attestation, your result slip, usually 15 working days after the session. The exact wait time depends on your test center. Because the TCF Quebec is a modular exam, each module is scored separately. Therefore, you get a separate result slip for each test you do, which is unlike the TCF Canada exam that provides 1 single result slip. Just like the TCF Canada results, the TCF Quebec results are valid for 2 years from the date of issuance. Again, the goal is to get above the target score of your target program in each of the modules. Why take the TCF Quebec exam? Historically, it was not accepted for federal applications. Likewise, the TCF Canada was not accepted for Quebec applications. However, the fact that Quebec now accepts TCF Canada in certain cases adds flexibility, allowing you to apply for immigration to either Quebec or any province in Canada. But this exam is more Quebec-focused. Therefore, test dates and centers may be more limited in some regions, depending on your home country. You'll want to check with your local Alliance Française or authorized centers to find out if this exam is available. Because many prospective immigrants often compare the Quebec path to the federal path, it's helpful to see differences and overlaps between TCF Quebec and TCF Canada. A few differences between the two exams. TCF Canada has 4 compulsory modules, while TCF Quebec is modular, meaning that not all modules are compulsory, and candidates can sometimes avoid the extra burden of doing extra modules if they're not required. Another difference is that TCF Quebec exams are graded in Quebec, while TCF Canada exams are sent to France and the results sent back to the test center. Both exams, however, if all 4 modules are taken, have the same exam structure and same duration. Otherwise, with the TCF Quebec exam, duration depends on how many tests you choose to do. Things like exam availability and cost may vary depending on each test center. Now that we have taken a look at the TCF exams used for immigration to Canada and Quebec, let's take a brief look at another similarly recognized group of tests for immigration to Canada and Quebec. The TEF Quebec, also known as TEFAQ and TEF Canada. Obviously, from the name, we know that one is Quebec-focused and the other Canada-focused, the TEF Quebec. Just like the TCF Quebec is graded in Quebec, while the TEF Canada, like the TCF Canada, in France. The TEF exams, just like the TCF exams, test the 4 skills of language proficiency. However, the TF exams have more in-depth, open-ended questions compared to the short, structured questions of the TCF exams. This is what makes the TEF exams longer at 3 hours compared to the TCF exams that last only 2 hours. So for immigration to Canada, TCF Canada and TEF Canada are accepted, while for immigration to Quebec, TCF Quebec and TEF Quebec are accepted. We have all heard of
DALF and DELF
exams. These, unlike the TCF and TEF exams, are only used as proof of your specific French level. In some cases, Quebec may accept DELF/DALF exams if you have proof that you are B1 or higher. However, DELF/DALF are not always sufficient for all immigration programs, as Canada prefers TCF and TEF. To be on the safe side, it's better to choose what each respective government prefers. Now that we have an idea of the different exams available, here are some tips and strategies to help you succeed in your TCF Quebec exam. Before the exam, you must know which modules your immigration program requires, so you don't have to over-prepare modules you won't need. Check your immigration program's rules. Does it require reading and writing, or only oral modules? Familiarize yourself with the format. Time management is key, especially for listening and reading tests. Do practice tests in time situations. For the 3 writing tasks, practice writing 60 to 150 word texts, comparative essays, arguments, summaries, describing and comparing 2 viewpoints, and following all instructions also under timed situations so as to get you familiar with the test format. For the speaking test, practice spontaneous speaking on familiar topics. Practice with a timer, record yourself, and try to build fluency, coherence, and strategy. Take full or partial mock exams under timed conditions to reduce exam anxiety and build stamina. Check registration, dates, locations. Because TCF Quebec is offered only via authorized centers and dates vary, book early. Some centers may have wait times of more than 2 months. On the exam day, arrive early. Bring required identification and know the test rules. Read instructions carefully, especially for multiple choice. There may be traps or tricky wording. In reading and listening, if a question is difficult, make your best guess and move on, or skip the question and return to it later. Don't stay stuck on the same question for too long. In writing, spend a few minutes planning each task, outline your argument, list points before writing. Make sure to address all parts of the prompt. In speaking, structure your responses: introduction, development, conclusion. Use linking words like
par exemple, d'une part, d'autre part, cependant.
Stay calm. If one module doesn't go well, don't let it derail your performance in subsequent modules. Analyze your results, see which modules you scored high or low, and target your weaknesses if you must retake, and make sure to use your certificate before it expires within 2 years.
If you're planning on taking your TCF Quebec exam anytime soon, I wish you all the best, and I hope these tips helped. Otherwise, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, as it lets me know what types of videos you'd like to see more of in the future. Thanks for watching. À bientôt!